It's Monday. It's the market sniper time. Yes, hope you had a good weekend. Good to be back with you. And oh, what a day, what a day. What things happening? What a big things happening. So big weekend for Bitcoin. Of course, nothing happened last week except in the crypto markets. Big pump up, 58,000, then a big spill down to 48,000. And I think we'll snap back a little bit out of that. It's already started to happen. I think we'll get some upside continuation, but maybe it's possible. Could set up some structure and spill down. But this is the Market Sniper channel, and we are talking about all things macroeconomic and traditional markets, and we're getting straight back into one of my favorite topics, which is silver and First Majestic. So we'll be talking about the precious metals, silver. We'll also look obviously at gold, its bigger brother, and we will also be looking at the ratio between them. We can run by a couple of the other precious metals. We're going to have a look at First Majestic, why I still say it's one of the best punts in the silver space for chasing for upside on there. So looking really forward to doing that. And another thing I'm going to address is one of my community members just asked a question more broadly, and I'll paraphrase his story. So I've got it over here and I'll talk about it. And we'll kind of give it a little bit of an answer, and it ties into this. So all of these inputs came into me today. And it says this is what needs to be talked about, because we've got to look at what's going on in the market. We've got to look at everything that's going on, and we've got to look at something that's useful that answers a question from you, and even more so, something that's useful that answers a question from somebody who's one of my precious community members, thinking about all his experiences. And this is quite an interesting story. So let's get on with it, because I'm going to read his narrative to you and talk to it. By the way, we absolutely appreciate your comments and your likes and shares. Give us a like and share. We truly appreciate that. No ads on the channel. We'll be answering this question and going through his narrative as well. He's got a lovely problem. He's got a nice problem. I wish when I was 20, I had his problem. I know this situation that he has, because I still feel some of it today. So let's hear about this question, and then we'll see what it's got to do with silver, what it's also going to do with this article on Zerohedge. Michael Burry, aka the man of the big short, yes, selling the subprime down, down, down. It's kind of a down, down day for Bitcoin today, but I don't think it will be too long. And one day after the Weimar tweet storm. So hyperinflationary forces talking. So we've said it to you. We've said it on this channel, because this is where you talk about bonds. Most of you do not understand the bond market, and that's okay. I didn't understand it. I still don't understand large parts of it. But the debt market is superior in scale. It's vastly bigger than all the market caps of the equity market. Everybody knows this company, that index, that index. There is a bigger governing market, that is the debt market. That is the creation of money. That is dollars. That is everything. The debt markets are huge. And you may know, if you've seen our recent vids, some of them below, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, check always, that we've said, we're calling a top. We think there's a really likelihood that the debt 40-year bull cycle from the 80s, Paul Faulkner jumping the rates all the way up, high teens, and the interest rate cycle going non-stop down. That criminal, Greenspan is the biggest of the criminals, the central banking cartel criminals, and he put it on a path that the others had to continue to largely degree, ever more money, ever more debt, ever lower interest rates, to the point that actually those interest rates can't survive at those low levels. We don't have monetary policy. So this all tying into hyperinflation. Plus, I've pointed to you that in fact, there are HVF upside setups. By the way, you want to learn how to do hunt volatility funnel trading, click a link below. It's there. Go and join in. You can book a call and have a chat with a non-salesman trader person just like you, who is a member of the community and decided and spent some of his own money before joining and now represents us. So you can do that. We told you Robusta coffee setups going up. We told you oil is going up. It might be a little bit down now, but it's crossed a huge wedge from the extreme lows. We told you about uranium going up. We told you about everything that you can buy. Softs going up, lumber going up, copper going up, industrial metals going up, going up. Why is everything going up? Is it them going up, or is it actually the expectation of demand going too high? Well, in COVID-19, it's clearly not demand ridden, because there's not that same amount of fuel usage, travel, and various other things. It's actually being driven by the proliferation of money that is inflation. Anytime you're expanding money, you're expanding inflation. So the whole hyperinflation that goes into this Michael Burry of The Big Short, he's now in effect talking about the big long, isn't he? Long indeed. He's swinging from that extreme to the other, and he's going to be highlighting that. So it's interesting after you've made a call on the bond market, you suddenly get big names like this coming a couple of weeks, couple of months after you've started talking about top of the bond market turning, the interest rates are going to have to go up. We have negative real interest rates. The true inflation rate is far higher. You can't increase money supply by 24% and not have 24% inflation. In terms of money now going into the system. People say it won't show immediately. There's buffers, some of it gets stored, etc., etc. But you should start to have very higher, much higher levels. So there's lies, damn lies, and statistics, and the statistics is the official CPI. So I've covered all this before, and I've even done gold and silver in shadow stats. I showed you a previous YouTube when I made an extremely strong case for silver, the extreme case for silver, part 1 and part 2. You can find that on this channel where we did the mathematics and we deflated the silver price by the compounded loss of inflation since the Reagan era stats, 1981-82, and we backdated it from the last big bull market, the spike there, and then the 2011 spike bull market, and right up today. Silver has never been cheaper in the same value dollar of 1982. The dollar today is not the same dollar of 1982. There's far more of them around. And that is dilution, my good friends. Dilution. You're being watered down. Your wine is being watered down. Your rum and coke is only a little bit of virgin cola and a sniff of coke, and the rest of it is just pure bread, alcohol, petrol out of the guy's local diesel wagon. You're being crooked. You're being crooked. You've been diluted. You've been scammed. And that is what we're talking about today. But first, let's go to that question. I'll skim through it. So a lot is being heard about portfolio allocations. So I've got a number of people that are asking me sort of like more portfolio-based questions. It might be a small thing, he says, to me, but as an experienced investor, but as someone who's learning HVF in the community and feeling reasonably confident on trading, understand, you know, I'm just a few years out of 20. But he started with a 6-figure account a few months back in the group, turned it into a large one. That is through the 7s I'm expecting. Money I'm not used to having usually. So here's someone in his 20s that is actually a millionaire through his crypto trading. And he's actually getting a little bit, he used an F expletive, a bit of an F-bomb in his head, he says, because it feels more like a weight on my shoulders now because you've suddenly got this wow money. And it's like a little bit of, whoa, it's a little bit freaky, especially if you're quite young, and it's freaky to you even if you're older. And it feels like a burden. This is a great reward. It's a lovely problem to have, but in a kind of way it can turn into a burden. Because now you're on the screens, everything is significant. You lose $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in a day on a decision. You could make $100K on a decision. This is like, you know, and you have a girlfriend that's, say, a nurse earning £30,000 a year. It could be a little bit of a freak out. I can absolutely get that. So what he started to do, and he's actually doing wise things because he's in the community of snipers, and he's hearing and doing, he's trading less and less and taking more time off the screens. Smart. Because what actually happens is you get adrenalized, wound up, adrenalized, pumped. You take yourself into a state of exhaustion, late nights, minimum amount of sleep, until you do a dumb thing. And you kill your problem in the worst possible way. You cease to make it a problem by throwing your money to someone else who'll look after it better than you. And that is adrenal spiral. And you've got to avoid doing that. What he's doing that is preventing that is he's doing less, calming it all down. It's like such, wow, big eye money. What to do, what to do. I'm this custodian now of this responsibility. So he's doing less trading. But what he's found is lockdown and not being able to go for a drive and hang out with his mates and have a drink sees him in the end being sucked towards the screens and going back into the game. So it's not helping the current scamdemic that is being perpetuated against you. So this is the ongoing of the story. So he's talked about mostly Bitcoin and ETH. in his portfolio with a sprinkling of alts. But what he's found is that his 5x5, his ADA has turned into flipping 20% now, and it's expanded. Does he still keep it in its current size? Should he be trimming it? Should he be culling it? And he goes on to talk about his BNB, which he was keeping because he was using Binance, and he'd sort of had roughly 5% of that, and that's gone up literally 15x. He bought it in and around the $15 era because he was using it and he was treating it and he was every day going it, and he now gets this huge, unexpected mega gift that is just blown. And that's like kind of, it's great, but it's also a problem in his head. It's turning into a burden. So what he says is, I've taxed down, I've done everything you've taught us in the videos that you'll learn if you're in the community. Hot pots, I'm doing no hot pot stuff. It's getting too big. Orange, I'm toning it right down, and he's reverting more investment. And can I tell you, that's exactly what you want to do. You need to take the anger out of the situation, the violence out of the situation, the volatility that leverage and highly volatile instruments bring out of the situation, and you do have to calm the hell down. You have to turn fast dough into slower, medium-paced dough, and eventually into slow dough. And this comes on a day that Bitcoin has crashed by 10K. Now I'm telling you, it's not the end of the world. It's not necessarily the top at all. You can get a good bounce back. We can have an amazing wind up, and we'll be zoomed through the 60s, etc., etc. But when you get fast moving mega bulls, often the success that comes at you can come so fast and furious that it can be intimidating. Especially if you've also killed it on ADA, you've killed it on BNB, and it just like the gods have just overloved you. It's almost like 15 virgins jumping into your lap and saying, "What's up, big boy?" and stroking your hair. Not in my case, unfortunately, but it's great at first. It sounds like a nice problem, but it can get a little much, you know? You lose your sense of who you are, and that's kind of dangerous. So he says, what do I do? Am I constantly rebalancing this? How do I get by with this? Now, the big point that is very relevant in this particular discussion is he talks about crypto being around 80% of his net worth. And right there is the crux. If you are sitting where you are now, watching the Market Sniper channel, but crypto is 80% of your net worth, let me tell you, it's quite a volatile place for you. You're generally getting good news right now, but every now and then there's a bedwet moment. It's just too volatile for your personal emotional degree of stability. And that's why this YouTube here today is about Bitcoin, or crypto in itself as a category, may well be the fastest horse, but you are best served by a stable of horses. And the key word is stable, and I'm using a play on word because there's two meanings to that word, and I mean both of them. Stable, a house with lots of horses, so that if the fast horse is lame on the one day, you actually have another. You aren't so narrow. And stable as in less volatile. Now, it's funny to start talking about silver as being your stable horse, because in the traditional markets, minus leverage, it is not particularly a stable instrument. It's even more volatile than gold, and gold itself is sometimes considered somewhat volatile in comparison to, say, bonds. Yeah, bonds. Wow. Well, bonds are about to become a lot less worth what they're supposed to be in my worldview. I think you could have a jubilee of debt forgiveness, which will be an entire disappearance of the liability side of the T equation in accountants, which means an entire disappearance of the asset side for all those pension funds, aka here's UBI for all, you don't have a pension, good luck. Okay, so if debt gets cancelled, the boring market, the huge boring market, is going to get very, very, very skittish, and it will probably have a high chance of dying. That's been my worldview. It's a radical one, but we can't continue with this debt. Now, there have been periods of very high debt where they've kind of continued with bonds and reined them back down. And you know what happened? That period, if you watch and follow Lynn Alden and the interviews that we've done with her on here, the period when gold was illegal to own in America. Gold was illegal to own in America. Some of you are going, what? Yeah, gold was illegal to own. I think it was 10 or 2 years of jail. It doesn't really matter. Any time in jail is nightmare. And tens of thousands of dollars fine when that used to still be a lot of money. The equivalent of hundreds of thousands to today. And all the patriots brought forward their gold, and it was all melted down into new bars, put into Fort Knox. And the citizens re-established the balance sheet for the country. It was confiscation. You got paid $20 and they re-rated it to 35. Boom, the minute they'd got all the money off you. In other words, they huxed you. They sold you short. They gave you unders and said it's now valued here. And that's how they recreated. That happened. So going back to the question, stability would be brought by having a higher level of fast dough. The fast dough, anything that's changing day to day too much is actually unstable. Your net worth is swinging too much. Even if it's mostly good, and I still think we're in a macro bull market, I still think on Bitcoin, you can go through 100,000, you can go through 250, and other tokens will do 20K like Ethereum, who knows? All of those bull things can happen. You need to tax out of the high volatility market. And some of you will be saying, but you're going to make less money then. Well, you can do one of two things. You can stay all in 100% in crypto on a shit or bust moment, live frenetically, and every day see that volatility and wildness in your crypto portfolio, or you can take some of the sting out of it and ensure that if Klaus does his grid down and crypto gets cancelled, or if there was a sudden zeroization, here's your central bank coin, sorry, we're cancelling that, only gun runners and baby molesters are using crypto, privately issued tokens, you would protect yourself. So physical silver is part of that, my preference, but you can't only have, you can have half a ton and still not have a 7-digit number at the moment in terms of silver. You can have a full ton and still not be 7 digits parked up in silver. Now that's quite a bit to have to dig a hole for in your back garden. So you can also have a mix of gold, which will be far more condensed. You'll hold a lot more money in a lot smaller place. Having something physical off grid is worthwhile. What did the silver and the gold markets do today? Well, let's have a little look. I've got gold euro here. I don't know why I brought up the euro this time. We'll look at gold dollar as well. But the key thing I'm wanting to show you is I suspect that finally, maybe famous last words, who knows, finally, that this falling wedge that we are starting to see here, let's grab the pen, grab our favorite color, draw some lines, why not? It wouldn't be a market sniper vid without it, and show you what we've got. Now, gold euro is gold euro. It's the second most significant currency. It's not the world's current denomination, but we'll do dollar as well. And it won't look too much different, although the euro had a strong period whilst the dollar was weak. And what are we setting up? Remember something, gold euro and gold pound, he said, holding his pen like a phalanx symbol for someone to sit on and swivel. Gold euro and gold pound were the two currencies upon which, and in fact Aussie and yen, in fact most of those four currencies all set up beautiful HVFs with targets that were made, and you watched that right here on this channel, and you were given the almost perfect targets, by the way, which are still there to be seen. Sell that high, I ask you, for the major move that occurred. That is a daily chart. Take it off. Let's just remind you of that event, go weekly. That's what gold's done with overperformance bands in an immensely short period. It outperformed time stop, and now you got your falling wedge. Now, the reason gold supposedly has been going down, and it's been underperforming silver, we'll go to the gold silver in a minute too. The reason gold's been is because supposedly interest rates are climbing. But actually gold responds to the negative real interest rates. And going back to what Lynn Alden reminded us all of, the period when you weren't allowed to own gold is when they created negative real interest rates. That means what they were paying on the debt for you to own was less than the current inflation rate. So your money was not possibly going down, it was guaranteed going down. And they ran that debt value down, printing more dollars till eventually 1 trillion looks, it's just like looking at a million today. Because now everything is quadrillions and pentillions and everything else. And that's hyperinflationary. Now, during that period, it was more stagflationary. hyper typically refers to sustained government statistic measured double-digit to triple-digit inflation. Now, it's my worldview that you are actually experiencing 10, just on the double digits. John Williams has it at 9s right now, but there's been a bit of a deflationary fear period with the pandemic. So most of you are probably in America facing, on your personal inflation rate, double digits, 10, 11, 12. You're buying good quality foods, etc. The packaging's getting smaller, the prices are going up, etc., etc. And your power, the Texans' power is going up too. So what we have is a falling wedge structure on gold, and it seems to be starting to find a bit of a buy here, a bit of a bid. I suspect once up and over like that, and then I think we go back into gold bullishness. Gold bullishness. What's Biden and Kamala going to do? They're going to do proliferation, UBI, equity. So reparations for slavery, possibly. You're going to see more talk about this. So they can kill a lot of agendas with that. I don't want to go reset on you. But that kind of thing, UBI, more money thrown in the ethnic areas. I don't think in a productive way that incentivizes good behavior, just handouts. That's typical of what I'd expect them to see. So if gold against the euro is doing that, let's have a look at the more familiar gold dollar, because this is your God market. We're going to have to hide some of those beautiful annotations that he's done. And you will see here that the gold dollar is also marginally lower low. What do I teach you about marginally lower lows? There's a low and there's a marginally lower one and a pushback. Now, you don't get away with calling a bottom that early just because of one green weekly candle, which is what you have at the moment. It's a weekly candle. And don't forget, this was when we called long on that falling wedge and third impulse for gold. And it did run to new highs with a blow off. So all of this has just been progress decay. Time going by, not going any further up, sideways and down, and that's progress decay cycle. So it's an elapsation of time. It was not an investment to be holding to the long side post all the targets made in pound, euro, and GBP. Now it's time to bring silver into this. Let's do that. Silver, because that is the reason why we're here today. We're talking about silver and First Majestic. In the same time frame that gold's had a pullback, silver's not accepted the next stage sell-off. In fact, during that period, you had a double bottom here. While gold was selling off further down, silver has done this. So there's a divergence between the industrial precious metal silver and the almost exclusively bullion and jewelry metal gold. And there's a reason for that. The central banks own loads of gold. It's intense, it's dense, it can be vaulted, and there's high value that can be set on that. Therefore, as a market to control, it's one they can easily do. They are the biggest holders. Silver is a problem. It's consumed, it's used, much higher industrial use, and for them to hold, they would have to have unbelievably large vaults to hold billions of dollars of silver. And the peasants, like you and I, have got and can afford and have bought bullion and are taking it out of the system. Bars, tokens, coins, tubes, monster boxes, you name it. And that's a problem. Elon wants to go EV. Biden wants to go green. Solar panels, all of this. Consumption is climbing. I saw an excellent pie chart. I shared it in the community. I haven't got it close to hand, but the production of silver and where it all goes nowadays. Far more use, which is consumption. It can be recycled to a degree, but it costs a lot. You've got to chase after it. You've got to break it down and you've got to get it out. So let's have a look at the shorter time frame on silver. Let's go right into the 30 minutes. You know, we got that Wall Street bets, which is pretty much a bit of a scam story. A lot of city institutional big bankers made a lot of money out of there. This notion that the little guy won, gave the bankers a bloody nose. Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited about that. A lot of inside big banks made money. You've just had a little squeeze and you're popping out of this. This is in an environment where its big brother has been going largely down. And it's shown in its sudden tendency to skip with huge gaps. Imagine you were short there and you got gapped like that. That would have been pretty painful. Yes, they killed it back down. Well, Now you're in a range. This is the new normal of range for silver. You were down here. The next time you came down here, it got bought up. This was not so long ago, last week. It got bought up violently. And next thing you know, you're skipping and we are going and we're touching. This 28 is a bit of a halo level at the moment. And we're coming up to it again. So we're now in a bit of a ledge environment for silver as a whole. Then let's take a look at my favorite equity in the silver space. Mr. First Majestic. Now this one I'm going to put the eyeball on and let you get a little peek about how we see the world utilizing what we have. Now, this is a very important concept. So here's why First Majestic for me technically. So this is not loving the CEO. I think he's a very solid, strikes me as a stand-up guy every time I've seen him, by the way, of First Majestic. But this is not out of trying to aggrandize him. This is just a chartist-based view on what's happened. So let me give you the chartist-based view on First Majestic. Monthly, or going for monthly. Let's get a bit more real estate there. Close the window. And pull that down a wee bit. Now, this isn't what I'd call a traditional structure for one of our patterns, but it's very much like this. Silver, to the rest of the commodity markets, is like what a crypto is. Because it's skittish fast mover, and it can also pump and dump equally harsh sell-offs. So it ran like a beast up to there. This was going into the 2011 bull market, falling wedge down after they killed the metals as a result of that. Now up top there, you did in fact make just under 28, 27 and a bit as your total high. We then in the 2016 Shanghai Accord, China blows up with all the debt. They quickly try to sort everything out. It leaked. That was the low for gold. It was also the second low for silver. Silver actually made a slightly lower low on the CV19. Very recent, last year March, the last low from after the 2011 high. Boom, it pumps up. Note how quickly it moves. When it's going a bull, it goes very quickly. The thing with this trade is you're going to sit around and be wrong for a long time, and then you'll be suddenly very, very right. That's how it happens. You get an absolute rainbow of a day that knocks everything out of the spots. That was the CV19 low. The interesting point here is First Majestic didn't make a new low, unlike the metal itself. That shows you something of relative strength. Relative strength. So for my friend's question, and this is all tied together, it's all correlated, it's all these little inputs from community members, people with challenges. What do I do? What do I do? Call options on First Majestic is my chosen route, and I take leaps, long dated call options. They're called leaps. They are lengthy of date. The longest I can get currently on my Schwab account, Charles Schwab, sounds a bit like Klaus's buddy, his stepbrother from another mother, who knows. But anyway, Mr. Schwab, you go to Charles. There's a European version and there is also American. If you're European, remember to say you're not American so you don't get withholding tax, etc., etc. And you can get till 2023. Now, that's not as long as I'd like. I'd take 2025. I'd stake it for 10 years if I had my way. But, you know, you've got to do with what you can. And what I've done is when those expire, you roll them into the new term. In the new term, every year, it stretches out another year ahead. So as I've made profits, you can close some and you can open some on longer expiries. So I've been holding long-dated calls for an extended period. I was very fortunate to have got some down here that I bought out of the money very cheaply with a $10 strike. Those $10 are well past now. But I want to just show you something on our HVF method that you can learn one thing. That has a target of 34.14. I expect to see super spike through and overperformed. So that's not my final target. It might be a point of some lightning for First Majestic. But with call options, you'll be greatly leveraged. I want to show you how beautifully we actually made that second interim. Some of you will be saying, but you didn't. It stopped there. But you did, and this is something I've had to cover with my premium guys. It's the aftermarkets, pre-markets, and post-market timing. And you only get to see that on lower time frames. If you see the lower time frame, you will actually see, and you get this graininess, this yellow and blue. Those are showing you the pre and post market trading sessions. That's not the official American sessions. That's outside of official time. And in actual fact, you can see you traded well through 26. But when you look at this chart on the big time frames, you lose pre and post market. It looks like it fell short. Remember, it looked like it fell short. That second interim was indeed run and you sold off real hard. Now you say that's a bummer, it sold off real hard. I'm saying that's a gift. It's being totally compliant. It's made the level it was supposed to do. It's coming back. I'm loading up with more, which is exactly what I did. Loading up with more. Look at that lovely squeezy Japanesey, and the way it goes is up. The way it goes is up. So let's have a little closer look at that time frame and see what we can see about it all. So that was 4 hour. I'll give you one, and I will show you something especially nice. So we actually had, even after the break from the rising wedge, that what was the squeezy Japanesey I referred to, you actually got your HVF structure there, high 3, low 3, and you got a target that confluenced with our second interim. We call that confluencing. You can learn a little bit more about what we do, but you're getting a little sneak preview now when you jump on the link below and book a call and join our community. Get wiser and smarter. It gives you more confidence. You feel less anxiety about managing your future 7-digit sums. Do you want that challenge? It's still a problem and it can be a load. I'm reading from somebody else's writing. I didn't write this to myself. This is a real question. You need the responsibility and the skill sets to manage the greater, better, wealthier you. Let me say that one again, because you need to hear it. You need a higher and greater level of responsibility and skill sets to manage the greater part of you, the wealthier, better, greater part of you. You can only grow as fast as you yourself are growing. Your wealth can only grow as you yourself. Otherwise, it becomes that burden. And what you have to do is you have to tax it back down and get back to your emotional stability level. The minute you leave your point of emotional stability and you're feeling too wired, you are adrenaline. You're like that guy with the foot welded into the corner of your car doing 300 k's per hour on a straight highway and thinking, damn, I'm going to bin it the first bend that comes and I can't stop myself. I'm just adrenally an accident waiting to happen. Don't be that guy. You got to know what to do. You got to tone it down. It helps to be in a community. It helps to just be chalked down and also to hold on to what you have. Take some of the fast dough. That 80% of your wealth, that 90% of your wealth is in crypto. I get guys, a big YouTuber, much bigger channel than me, is delighted to explain that he's 99% wealth crypto. Now, let me tell you, if you make the most money and crypto is the fastest horse, good luck. But let me say this to you. Not everyone will cope. And there's a point when the number of zeros get too big and the swings are too big that you get PnL hypnotized. Until you've experienced it, until you've been successful enough to experience it, you won't know what I'm talking about. If you have, you will be nodding your head right here, right now, while I'm talking, and you'll be feeling just like my 20-something community member who's dealing with being a million portfolio manager of his own net worth, and he's feeling some stress for it. Do you want that problem? Link below. Now, how do you deal with it? A small preview. You calm it all down a bit and you say, it's not going to give me the highest overall gain, but it's going to reduce the stress. It's going to calm me out. You buy physical silver, you buy some calls on First Majestic, you spread it all out so that if Uncle Klaus switches electricity off and crypto goes to zero for a while, or anybody with a leveraged possession has a spike through to naught, even if they switch it back on later, and you don't get closed out and you don't have paper money of gazillions in your account and then nothing. Remember, you will own nothing and be happy. That tells me Big Pharma happy pills and somebody plans to zilch you. Somebody, somehow, somewhere, someplace is planning to zilch you. So wherever you are now, you better be more diversified. If you think you're going to see the whole winter through on one horse or 10 winters through on one horse and are turning down the stable because they're not all race horses that run the same time as the one you're on, you're a fool. You take the stable and you get stable. Take the stable, get stable. Market sniper advice coming straight at you. It's the hardest and truest because you will keep. It's not what you make at the highest point on your PnL right now. It's what you can cope with and can keep. And that is key. So rolling it into cash holdings, you should have some, even though it's going to go backwards, because if they grid down the ATMs, you're going to be in trouble. Call options, derived call options, yes, because those are good. They're going to hold their value. There could be a deflationary spike. You don't care if you're staked with an expiry to 2023. They can drop the Nasdaq tomorrow by 40% and this stock can fall 50%. But when they come with their solution, which is more printing, more UBI, more stimmy checks, it goes back even faster and beyond and will go higher in the end because of it. That is a fact. That is a fact. Because their game is destroying the value of your currency. You are in super normal times where super normal wisdom is required and traditional wisdom is exactly what you don't need. A portfolio of bonds is not what you need to balance out your stocks. Real smart equity-based investments, diversifying your wealth out of crypto into something like this will serve you. Physical silver will serve you and physical gold. That is what I'm here to show you. This just technically laid down a funnel for us. This went super low vol. We all have our suspicions about the pump and the smackdown. Two gaps, always correlating with previous gaps, by the way. See that? Also, the 50% of the fib. The gap always occurs at the 50% of the fib. You can learn this and more. Get smart. Learn how to trade. Understand key principles of technical analysis. This is a twitchy sprinter that popped out of the blocks before the gun went. The race ain't over. They're back in the blocks. It will come. And the next time it comes, it's for keeps. That's what's happening. Funnel will be broken impulsively. Before this happened, I did a jump share with my community. When you're on board, you can ask if it happened. Guys, this is squeezing. It's low volatility. We will break with some momentum in the not too distant future, the funnel zone to the upside on First Majestic. And that's $1. And for those of you in crypto, you'll go, well, it was 18 and now it's gone up to 19 and a change. That's not like a big deal. It's a big deal. You bought a strike with 18. You've gone from being out of the money when it was 17.45 to being in the money. That option could have gone up 50, 60, 70%. And the volatility has expanded. And the volatility will come for silver. And you will see why it will be like a crypto. Volatility. That is the reason. And that's what's coming. Big, great news. Confluence of targets. That had to be a turning point. We get a gift that it came back so bad. The very thing these bastards do by killing silver and then trying to reshort one of the most shorted equities, by the way, that means a whole bunch of future buying that's got to take place to get square. Would you like to put them under pressure and make them buy it? That's a bit Wall Street bet of me, but let me say to you, this is one place I would be happy to do it. And forget about doing it in the commodity market silver. You can do it on a single line equity. On silver, it's going to take a lot more people, a lot more time to go stacking. So, having had that entree and opener with you, bouncing out of the blocks here on Monday morning, what the hell? You may as well be happy. If you run your own business and you're so blessed and lucky as I am, you may as well be happy. The totalitarian state is coming. Live today, for tomorrow you die. I don't know who really said that. Let's see what you guys have to say on the chat. 60 physical PM, 40 crypto. Yeah, so somebody's already giving his takedowns. So stocks, cash, call options is my take on. I'm actually optioning a lot at the moment. You need a bit of skills for that. There's a strike, but for some of you, you can buy stocks. You can maybe buy it with light leverage. Be very careful. But options give you leverage, but you got to know what you're doing. They're worthless in the end of the 3 years if they never go in the money, by the way. So you are, in essence, taking a derived bet on the future price. And in these inflationary times, that is what I expect. Will there be deflationary spikes where they'll make another COVID-19 spill? They absolutely can and probably will. But with 3 years, I've got plenty of time. if they did it next year for a full year snapback recovery. And the recoveries are coming faster because people know the only solution. Do you know this COVID-19 recovery was one of the quickest ever? Because it is absolutely BTFD. If you haven't seen that YouTube clip with the guy explaining it to the girl on buy the F-bomb dip, then go and watch it. Because there's only one thing they're going to keep doing. They're supposedly saving us. The corruptors, the people that set the fire, are always saving you from being burnt. And they want to be recognized for such. That is the state of the nation. Physical silver is getting scarcer. Forget the paper price. Absolutely. The true physical price is what it costs for you to get delivered an ounce of silver to your house. Now, typically you wouldn't buy a single ounce. So if, say, you're buying a tube or 4 or 5 tokens or a monster box or bars or whatever, you can see what the price. You want to get the lowest ounce per cost. Forget numismatic. If you've never shown interest in old coins, don't start now. You want the most silver for the least money. So if you've got a fair amount of chunk of change, go for a Fiji 5 kilogram coin bar. Boom, chakalak. Hold some money in your hand. Feel real weight and purity of metal. If you've got a huge amount, you've got a 7-digit sum, get some bars of gold. Get some coins of gold. Get coins and of silver. This could be your barter currency in supply shortages that could be coming. What do you think Gates is doing, buying all the farmland and telling everybody to eat synthetic meat? Do you think he's going to be putting on their cows there so that you can get your steak still? No, 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 no. This is him taking over the garden of production. You're going to be crowded into urban areas and sleeping in your AirPod before long if you don't take the appropriate steps. Get some land with a great lockdown house that has everything you need. A larder, a basement, a firearm, a safe, a panic room, trees with lemons, grapefruits, a bit of space, a bit of self-sufficiency, solar panels. If you're a 7-digit guy and you do not have a proper prepper home, you're falling behind and you're not seeing what's coming. And I'm getting a bit reset here, but I'm sorry, it's how I see it. The reset is merging into the market sniper. All the circles are coming into one. This has been, and I've said, done YouTubes before talking about the quickening. This is your big game. Get prepared for what's coming, and you'll probably still be surprised. But that doesn't mean you don't prepare. That doesn't mean you don't prepare. Okay. What have we got? Boom shakalak, says Black Russian Radio. What's going to happen to credit card debt when the crash happens? That's the one thing that'll only get written off if you take the vaccine, the UBI card, you comply with passport certificates, otherwise that's staying. Trust me, the money you owe them is their leverage over you. The money you owe them, the banking cartel, is the leverage they have over you to get you to do what they need you to do. Remove the leverage that they have over you. Make them do something by force that's illegal to get you to do something you shouldn't be wanting to do. And put yourself far away that if you had to buy and the next place you live is the last place where you stand till the day you die, what would you want on it? If you want home gym, sauna, cold water plunge pool, basement, safe for stacking all your metals, hole in the ground for stacking all your metals, 3rd place in the back of a garden for stacking your metals, 4th place under the car, under the driveway for stacking your metals, and an automatic machine gun in the corner of each home, go get it. If that's the country that allows it, you've got to go get it. Cans of beans coming out of your ears, whatever the case may be. But silver is the next best investment outside of crypto, and there's less risk of it going to zero or being grid down. Tax some of your fast gains made elsewhere, and some of you may have made fast gains in some of the stocks. Tax it down into physical, unleveraged, physical. You can touch it, it'll still be there. It doesn't rust, it doesn't rot. Okay, what other questions? Don't sell them. It's a base. Silver is your balance sheet. View it like that. If you're in real distress, you sell them. All that happens is they kill money the value of silver goes disproportionately up. You now have a big, strong balance sheet. You leverage off it. You can, if you very badly need something, you can loan against it. Try avoid selling it. But at some point, if we get a new reset system, there may be a point where, okay, you lighten up a bit. But trust me, you will have walked through. This is Shawshank Redemption, guys. You've spent 5 years, 10 years prepping since 2008-09. My YouTube channel started in 09. I've been prepping since subprime and trying to help you to do the same. This is Andrew Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption. You've been walking every day out in that lot, dropping handfuls of sand. You've dug the tunnel for 10, 15 years. And now you have to climb through the shit pipe. And you don't know what you're going to get down there, but you know it ain't going to be good. But the truth and the freedom on the other side is that boat on the Paradise Island while you wait for Red to come and join up for you. That is where you are. And you've been doing it with me right here for the better part of 11 years. And I'm saying shit pipe moment is coming. You've done all your digging, but you can still blow it. You need that Marilyn Monroe poster over that hole in the wall, because otherwise the game's up and all your work will be for nothing. You want to see that image of them pulling the poster back and seeing that hole in the wall, that warden, and you want to see the absolute look on his face. And the only way you do that is you do your stuff right now. While we're talking, this stock has gone up to 1944. We have not stopped telling you, do not forget about First Majestic and silver. You should have this as a balancing element to your crypto. For those of you that follow me, some of you might not be crypto at all and are building wealth and having 7-digit problems. Calm it down, diversify it out. You're not going to get the richest, highest number, but you're going to live, you're going to sleep, you're going to be relaxed. And if one of them blows up, you still have another horse in your stable. What else have you got me? Target is a blow-off over performance. The target we have on the HVF here, I'm not even sure I'll reduce. This is reset times. So as you saw, first cup gold nugget target for Bitcoin, for example, was 25,000. It traded 58,000 over the weekend. It is overperformance. It's the first and biggest. We said it when it happened on the other channel. You should be subscribed. You should hit the always button. We said this is reset trading. That was the single biggest 2.5 year, which was 25% of Bitcoin's history, first time macro continuation pattern for what's deemed to be by many, including investment fund managers, as the new savior of wealth, store of value. We said absolutely you will overperform, and you did. Your situation here with First Majestic is if you sell it at 34, you will have sold too early. It can go to 134. That doesn't mean it will go, it can.
Can you zoom out the window so that people can see the hole? The target on the right side? Just zoom out.
So the target was 34.14. I will not be selling much there, but I will have made a lot of money there. And I'll be holding on for a lot more. But if I feel undiversified, if I feel nervous, if I feel I want to have something more physical around me, I'll do it. I'll take some off. You've got to manage your emotions. Your emotions is the key. The minute something is getting too emotional, you're too frenetic, you're checking your device too often. It's like this, you wake up, you check your device, you go to bed, you check your device, you're eating lunch and you're talking half to your mum, your daughter, your wife, and you're checking the device. You are too leveraged to the market. You are not relaxed. You need to reduce your exposure in whatever market that is that you're watching and get some of that wealth broadened out. And here's where you do it. Many of you are insufficiently stacked on silver and insufficiently stacked in silver miners. And there are other places, by the way, not just silver. We'll be trading other equities, the bio equities. Let me tell you, these SPACs, wow, what a license to do whatever they want with your money without reporting. But let me tell you something else about them. As evil and as bad as that is, they're going to go up. Because those people are control structure people that know about those legal entities, all the freedom it gives them, all the privacy it gives them, and they're going to be investing. And let me tell you the areas where they're investing. Bio bio, life sciences, so life extension, a lot in the pharma, a lot in the medical, a lot in the tech, the AI, a lot in all the areas that will be shooting. You are going to see an explosion. Everything will be AI, Internet of the Things, 5G, communication, data analyzed. You'll have gadgets that'll tell you you've got insufficient minerals and which one and what you should be eating right now. It'll be analyzing your crap as fast as it comes out of your backside in the toilet and spitting you out a printout to tell you what you should do. You're a little bit dehydrated, have a sip of water. Like that. You need to eat a banana to get some sodium and some potassium, da-da-da-da-da. It's all going to be coming on a level and a scale you haven't seen.
Can you move to Windows so that people can see the price chart on the right side? You can see it on the screen. If they don't see it on the screen.
I'm looking at the comments to see what the gents have to say. Morning, lads. Silver's throwing a tantrum at the moment. That's what it needs to do. 40.4k subscribers. Thank you for taking us through the 40,000. We're really chuffed with that. And we're actually halfway to the next lot, which is the 41,000. That's awesome. We really appreciate shares. That's great news. And we value new subscribers as much as we value our existing ones that have been from us from the big. Does that show you the chart better? For those that were looking for the chart, that's first Majestic. You would like super chats, says Josh Matthews. Okay, I'll talk to the team about that. We don't really need money from you guys. We just want you to win. We just want you to win. Do something that makes you win. Get yourself a 7-digit problem and then make it an 8-digit one and be relaxed. And live like Riley. Have an amazing home. Real land, real space with a community of like-minded people. Smash the like button, shouts Josh. Thank you. 324 of you, 817. So this is the value. So the reason why we're doing silver on Bitcoin dump day is what hit you in the back of the head on your crypto holdings has kissed you on your forehead on your silver holdings. And that just brings more peace. Instead of having massive up and massive down days, you now have more consistent days. The degree that so here's the biggest lesson you're going to get out of this YouTube. If you listen to this, you're going to take away a lesson for life. Markets are emotional. They pump and they dump. That's not new to you. The degree that you, the trader, operator in the market, contain your level of emotionality relative to that expressed by the aggregated mean of the market participants is what determines whether you win or lose. So I'll say it again. How emotional and how volatile you are about both your PnL, your trading, and what's going on, versus how emotional the aggregate participant in that market that you're playing in is going to determine whether you're a winner or a loser. If you are calm when others are panic selling and panic buying, you are a winner. If you are part of the panic and the buying and panic selling, you are the eventual loser. Maybe not in that moment, but in time. You will be taxed. And you will get, if you're the other way around, you will get other people's taxes in flow. So the longer you look and the more you go long term and the less the day-to-day means to you, the more calm you become. So become long term. Makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you? So become more long term of focus and don't get hyped by the PnL today. Calm it out, spread it out, go long. Leaps, equity holdings, hot areas, macro HVFs at your tail. I've just shared one with you. There you go. You've all got the target on that. It's going to overperform in my worldview. The spikes that will come with reset. Have a look at what copper has done. Have a look at everything else. The reason gold and silver have been a little bit held back is because they are monetized and they are the canaries in the mine for the failure of the fiat system. Everybody would be screaming hyperinflation. Michael Burry's the first of the big names talking about it. When gold and silver are flying, everyone is talking about it. It points to failure of the fiat system. It's the last shoe to drop, not the first. Yes, they've moved already. Yes, they had big HVFs that performed, so now they're pulling back. All of that is true, and that's why you've had a bit of a pause in gold. But as we said, gold is now looking like it will potentially in time turn. But not yet, not immediately. What's gold silver done? We said to you that at the absolute apex of this market, and you should go see the extreme case for silver, where I deflate by $1982 to today dollars, and I was missing the last 2 years data. That will be what we've had of this year and 2020. It's only up to 2019. And guess what? 24% more money came out last year. So it makes everything I said more true, more cheap than it's ever been before. And let's just say to this, what I said in that same chart, because I've done this chart of the two divided together, that this probably trades, at least for a day, sub double digit. In other words, I think we'll break 10 silver ounces to buy 1 gold ounce. You're sitting at 64.8. We said at 113, this is the turn. This spike was the final blow off on the gold silver ratio before the big metals bull. In that time, silver's gone from 11 to 27. This will go sub 10 in my best guess. Single digit. At the moment, you speak to the CEO of First Majestic and he will tell you he can't find more than 8 ounces for every ounce of gold he pulls out. It's a byproduct silver. Very few pure mining for silver mines. It's something you pull out while you're doing the other stuff. It's expensive digging big holes in the ground. Think about all of that. Chad says, don't buy silver. There you go. Listen to Chad. Rob Owsey, late summer for new orders on silver now in the UK. Yep, buy it VAT free. USA, just think. Carlos Danger, good choice. Where to buy, Sniper? So currently, we're investigating possible places that could outperform my current first choice. My current first choice is Silver to Go website because you pay no VAT, but you do pay higher per ounce. So you save a little bit, but not the whole VAT thingy. If you're in Euroland, VAT is a bit of a pain because many of them are 20%, 19%, there around. So paying no VAT, you kind of save about 9 to 10% of that, but you're still paying over spot. But the true price is what you pay to get that coin with the dealer and the supply network. I'd love to buy direct from the mints, but they have dealer networks. Don't know if you can ever buy direct from them. They try not to undermine their dealer networks. What about digital gold, silver? So the problem with digital is the value of buying physical gold and silver is that it's non-digital. You're going to be in crypto, many of you. We've got a gentleman I just discussed that's 80% of his wealth is in crypto. You need to diversify out of digital. You must have that model home with all the space that if you got locked down and refused a vaccine and they never let you leave your property and all your food was delivered to you in a drone or in some driverless car, you could play, jump, ride bicycles. You've got space, you've got trees, you've got your animals, you've got your everything, your entertainment. It must be idealized. How about Bitcoin, Sniper? Bitcoin, Crypto Sniper will reply, but generally Bitcoin, we're still a bull. We're still a bull. Big spill. Of course, it's a big spill. It ran a major psychological number at 50K. We'll do a much deeper analysis for you, but I think you'll be bought up. I haven't seen it for an hour now since the stream, but you spilled to 48 from 58. You did a 10K. I think you're going to be fine. I think it will create some form of structure. It's a bit like this over here. We'll see what happens. We need more time. It's just had a very volatile day. We need to see how it settles. Will it roll over again and sell off hard? Is it going to continue to work its way up and give us a high second two? I need more information. It's just crapped the bed. So it's a very hard answer. It's not one I'm able to give with any great certainty, but generally I bias to deep dip buying, providing you do it exceedingly lightly, preferably unleveraged. You're going to be just fine. If you're very lucky, light leverage. Silver through 28. I highlighted while we've been talking, this is trading up, guys. You saw AG going up. Silver through 28. And I know for those, if those people are in crypto, say, it's small beer, it's not moving much. This is big deal. This is much bigger markets with much bigger market caps. Gold is 10 trillion. Silver's kind of like crypto-esque, I think. I'm not quite sure what its total market is. It's possibly less. But this is a significant move. This is a significant move. If we get above that high and we fail to make a new lower low. Often a final blowout to the downside before you go up. How many times have you noticed this? Whoops, let's just draw with a line, shall we? Freehand pen. A flush out in one direction so that you later go up. COVID-19 for gold and silver was that on a bigger time frame. A flush out. Think of that with that Bitcoin spill as well. A little bit of flush out. Too many leverage hands flushed out. They come and collect. They give you leverage on crypto, already very volatile, on all the platforms. And then all the institutions pick up your Bitcoin after you're a forced seller at the bottom lows at 48. And it rides back up to 58, winds up, goes to 72. And your Bitcoin balance is reducing and you're roughly staying the same on fiat, maybe going just a little bit up because you're not losing enough Bitcoin fast enough to flatline, but you're dropping Bitcoin. That's what most retail traders doing. Most retail traders is shedding Bitcoin through leverage. That's why hodling is popular. 1.2 trillion says the gent. I'm assuming that's to the answer of silver market cap. And Michael says 1.5. So yeah, that's kind of in and around. That's quite similar, isn't it? It's quite interesting. So if we expect the crypto market to expand as the new digital solution, silver can expand to a degree. I will continue to say, however, crypto is the fastest horse. I've done the analysis with charts with you on YouTube here, where I took Bitcoin, and it would have been the crypto sniper, I think. We divided it by silver. We've divided it by gold, and we've looked at it. And it is in a chart where it is continuing to go lower and lower. And we've inverted it so you can see it upside. So it is the fastest horse, in my opinion. It is the fastest horse, but it has its own risks with what the central bankers plan to do. Tom French, grab some Bitcoin at the 50 and the 48K range. Good job, Tom. I think if it's you did that, you'll probably be okay. I'm not sure if it comes back down again, though. What do you guys think? Any other favorite equities in the silver space? While we're here, we'll check what uranium's doing. Let's get silver. Wheaton is another one that's quite popular. Stocks. I don't like ETFs generally. To hold it is to own it. But I do use bullion vaults for convenience. And the link is below. And thank you to the many of you that are been utilizing. I'm getting like $5, $10 all the time that you guys buy. And I appreciate that. And it's one way, if you've got some value out of this channel, that you can thank me. It's like a tip box. I appreciate it. I don't ask for anybody's money. Let's just do that one more time. For some reason, I didn't get my stinky stoink. And they've been pretty good. And you can vault in Singapore, which is my favorite one. But the premium on Singapore has gone up a bit. So I've now started buying in London again. So here's the little bit that I like less about Silver Wheaton. Technically, I like it less. Silver's going up. And what do we get? Should be stronger. Might be overpriced, might need to sell off a bit. I don't think it makes a target, but it's still, that's not a bull pattern. And that is a little bit of broadening that we had there, like that as well, in there, as it broke down. So it broke down, maybe a revisit. Looks like it could go a bit lower. silver Wheaton. Can be company specific things. Big silver stock. So I prefer exactly what I'm seeing out of First Majestic as a technical outlay. Silver on. Who's our other equities that you guys like? There is Endeavour Silver. I actually know a guy with about 9% of the equity. Wow, look at that. That's more like it. It's also quite an attractive one I've been watching because I know a major shareholder. When riding with me, another South African who also doesn't trust government. He's always suggested for a long time that everyone should have at least 20% of precious metals in their portfolio. And he holds Endeavour. That's quite a nice turnaround. There's a nice rounded bottom there. And it's trading near current highs. That's kind of how it should be. And it's a $6.64 stock. I think this is Canadian holdings. Do we have any Canadians in the house? Any Canucks? Any lumberjacks that are feeling okay? Yep, no, none. Great pity. Southern Silver Exploration, says Neblin. You'd like SSV? Why not? Do a quick run through with you for a couple of Eek Ow Watch. Don't like he so much. This looks like something that had a bit of a debt issue and a management issue and sold off a lot of assets and doesn't have what it should have. It's flat as a pancake. I do think it will go up, but it would need a real turnaround to go up significantly. It could be a flyer, but I don't like to see something that's done so badly. Forget turnarounds. Turnarounds usually don't turn around. Apple was an exception. So don't like it. Canada here. ELEF. ELEF. Silver Elephant. That's Canadian. Wow. Another flattened pancake. You see, sometimes if they had too much debt, they had to sell off holdings. They're not the same company anymore. They just don't have the same amount of ounces in the ground. You need people that were hardened owners that survived this horrific bear market whilst everything else has been proliferating and expanding. That's not a good, it's just not a good. Yes, could it absolutely out of the blue, suddenly if the price changes, moonshoot and probably give you the biggest spike of the lot? It could, but I like to see some sign of good management that you've shown some degree of relative strength. So I don't want to buy the weakness because everything could be running and this could stay as flat as a pancake, trading sub $1. Hecla, yes, we've spoken of Hecla and somebody else wants Tanzanian, so I'll do those two and then we'll wrap. Hecla. Better, looking better. Let's go monthly and get a bit more history. Yeah, it's certainly felt the bear market. I mean, these things are as flat as pancakes. I tell you, if these things got running again, a lot of these could be overnight sensations again. But you just got to make sure it's not management issues that have seen them get so weak. That's why I like Majestic. It's obviously got dragged down by the price, as you should. You could argue you're halfway through a rounded bottom and that there might be big upsides, but I like to see people that have done relatively well. So this is a bit like the other flat as the pancake ones. What was the other one? Tanzanian, I think it was. So running the ruler on your favorite metal stocks. Tanzanian, it's Gold Corp. It's slightly different. See, gold's been a bit more of a disappointment. And that is flat as well. Again, it could spike out of nowhere. Technically, that's not begging me to buy it. I wouldn't bother. So give me one other, a silver one. I think MAG. Yeah, MAG. Much better. Much better. Showing you some strength. And it's showing some of the upside of the recent silver price moves in it, which proves that it's geared to the silver price sufficiently. If it's flat as a pancake, and silver has actually recovered from 11 at the COVID-19 lows to 28 right now as you're speaking, that should show some of that 11 to 28 move. Because otherwise, at the end of the day, we're also trading the silver long here, guys, the metal. We're trading the silver long. We're trading elongated muskiness needing to buy silver for his solar panels business, for his battery business, for all his businesses. We're trading Biden, sniffer and camel toe, getting battery vehicles for the state. We're trading all of that. We're trading that this must go up. I want to see this in all your silver stocks. If it's still flat as a pancake, there's a problem. Because if the silver price goes up, it could stay flat as a pancake. It's proven it's not yet moved yet. What's going to take it to move? This shows me it's moving. So silver goes up. I know I'm going to have a good day on balance of probabilities on First Majestic, sometimes even better. So the leverage to the silver price is what you want to see. IPT, Impact Silver. So a reminder, guys, there's a free mini-series, costs you absolutely nothing. We will never spam. You can subscribe for it in the links below. Bullion Vault is a great way for accumulating online silver, and I suggest mixing it with some physical as well. And you can reserve bars by number and name brand. This is China, this is a PAMP, this is whatever. And you get the mining name, serial number you can reserve, and it's possible to collect. Bit of a headache if it's Singapore though, and you're not living there. But if you're in London, for example, in London, there is New York, there's Toronto as well. So you can, if you're in Canada, America. So IPT, yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit not so great there, a little bit sketchy. Sketchy means a bit whiplashy. In a range on a ledge. A ledge can be a down move, could be an up move, but there's a bit of volatility in there as well. So a little bit of a concern. Came from about 20 cents though to a high of around 120. So that, in terms of multiples, that's fabulous. So if I log scaled that, it would look a lot better because that's quite a big percentage move that you did. But just technically, I'm not so warm and fuzzy about that piece of price action, especially on a day that silver's trading up. It's a bit like that, a descending triangle. I wouldn't want to be a buyer there. And guess what? You could have bought there. Then you have a double bottom here, and you have a level there. Okay, it's breaking that. You could be a buyer for there. That's how you want to time. That's how you want to time. Technical tools makes a massive difference. The level at which you buy at makes a massive difference. Care about your entry. Good entries. Good entries matter. Good entries matter. Some timing of technical analysis is important. But if you're getting the macro trend right, and this is hyperinflation times where fiat will be proliferated, the rarity of finding 8 ounces for 1 ounce of gold in mining and only as a byproduct with super new demand on a green agenda coming is going to see your asset go up faster than they are printing new dollars. That means you accumulate not only holding your wealth, you build fresh, new, extended wealth to the fiat proliferation number that they're creating. That is the game that you need, and that will keep you in the game with a balance of some cryptos, some silver stocks, a couple of biotech stocks. We're picking out HVFs. We're even picking out HVFs on SPACs. It's all happening in our community. If you want to be part of that, be diversified, build your wealth, sleep calm, enjoy your life now, get the home of your dreams, get the set, get prepped, enjoy your freedoms while you still have them, like you live for today. You know not what tomorrow brings. On that good note, I wish you all a big salute. I don't like ETFs. Sorry, Sil J. I don't like ETFs so much. Big salute to you all. Goodbye. Catch you again soon. Grab the links as you want. Free mini-series. Go get a bit of a heads up. You can see a little bit about what we are. We will have a non-farm at the first Friday of March month. You can come and join us for an hour and a half on traditional markets, an hour and a half on crypto, and see if you like the cut of our jib and the rest of the gang. And that's below $200 to attend. And so there's no risk to it. We do a 14-day money-back guarantee always for our people that take a chance on us. We appreciate it. To my lovely community, thanks for popping on and supporting. We really appreciate the likes and shares as well. No advert channel. Help us grow. We can stream more often. With that, I say goodbye. Happy silver investing. Happy first Majestic investing. This is entertainment, not advice. I could, of course, be entirely wrong. It's all about what I'm doing for myself. Bye for now.